You bought a Jeep for freedom, adventure, and off-road fun. But most new Jeep owners make the same expensive mistakes in their first year, and some can destroy a transmission, trigger death wobble, or even kill an engine. Today we're covering 10 rookie Jeep mistakes that can cost you thousands if you don't catch them early. Number 10 is the Jeep Wave fail. The second you drive a new Wrangler off the lot, every Wrangler on the road starts waving at you. 2 fingers off the top of the wheel, sometimes a full open hand above the windshield if your top's off. Fresh owners freeze up and never wave back. Just like that, you're marked as the new guy who doesn't get it. The Jeep Wave goes back to the old Willys days of World War II, when soldiers driving Jeeps overseas would nod to each other in passing on dirt roads. The tradition stuck around and carried into civilian life after the war. There's even an unofficial hierarchy to it. The cleaner, newer Jeep waves first to the older, more beat-up one. So a stock Sahara fresh off the lot is the one nodding at a battered TJ on 37s, not the other way around. And if you're driving a Wrangler with the doors off and top down, you outrank just about anyone else on the road. Speaking of doors off, this one is wild and most rookies don't know about it. Driving a Jeep with the doors removed was illegal in Pennsylvania until July of 2024, when Act 61 finally legalized it across all 50 states. Most states still require at least a driver's side mirror when your doors are off, and cheap hinge mount mirrors run $20 to $80 at any parts store. And if you've got a 2024 or newer Wrangler with side curtain airbags, the aftermarket wraparound grab handles can block the airbag from deploying properly. So stick with airbag-compatible handles only. Miss the wave 3 times in a row and you'll catch death stares at every gas station off the highway. Real Jeepers also won't honk at you in traffic. They'll just stare a little harder until you figure it out. Skip the wave and you only lose pride. Skip number 9 and your wheel can rip clean off your axle at 70 miles per hour. Number 9 is the lug nut screw-up. The moment a new owner bolts on aftermarket wheels, they grab an impact gun, blast the nuts down hard, and call it a day. That's the whole trap. The factory torque spec on a 2024 Wrangler JL is 100 to 130 foot-pounds, and the nuts always settle after the first 50 to 100 miles of driving. One owner on Wrangler Forum lost a whole wheel off his JK because the shop ran the lugs down loose with cheap aftermarket nuts and never told him to re-torque after the first highway drive. Another guy snapped a stud clean off because he cranked past 150 foot-pounds with a $30 impact gun from Harbor Freight. And there's another spec nobody knows about. The spare tire carrier nuts on the tailgate sit way lower, around 40 to 45 foot-pounds, because that plastic carrier cracks if you torque them like normal wheel nuts. Smart Jeepers also use steel insert aluminum lugs only, never solid aluminum on a heavy off-road wheel, because solid aluminum strips its threads under load. 5 minutes with a calibrated torque wrench from any parts store fixes the whole problem. Recheck the torque again after 100 miles, then once more after 500 miles, then forget about it. Skip those steps and your wheel flies off in the slow lane on the way to work one morning. That mistake cost you a wheel. The next one cost you a $3,000 soft top. Number 8 is the soft top wash disaster. This one stings. Jeep warns owners against any power washer over 1,200 psi on the body, and they warn harder against using one anywhere near the soft top. But most gas station auto washes blast way past that. The water rips into the seams, tears the vinyl rear window, and floods the interior in 30 seconds flat. The replacement bill is where it gets painful. A factory Mopar soft top kit runs around $2,585 to $3,030. A B-Stop Trek Top NX starts at $1,099 on Quadratech, and a Super Top Squareback runs around $1,249. The hardtop crowd has it even worse. A single OEM Freedom panel runs $650 to $725, a full pair around $1,390 to $1,800, and a brand new Mopar hardtop is $3,595 straight from the Mopar e-store. Now the part nobody warns rookies about. Never use Windex, ammonia, vinegar, or Armor All on the vinyl back window. It fogs the plastic for good and kills your rear view in one wash. The same warning goes for tossing Freedom panels loose in the trunk. They'll ding and scratch each other into junk in one weekend. The Mopar Freedom Panel Storage Bag is part number 82210325AD and runs around $25 to $45. Just hand wash the top with mild soap, a soft brush, and your own driveway. Trash your top and you're out cash. Trash number 7 and you're upside down in the median. Quick break. If you want to avoid expensive Jeep mistakes before they happen, check out the 500,000-mile Jeep Blueprint. It covers the maintenance schedules, hidden trouble spots, and preventative checks every Jeep owner should know. The link is in the description below. Number 7 is the sway bar trap. If you bought a Rubicon, your Jeep has an electronic sway bar disconnect that frees up the front suspension for off-road flex. It only engages below 18 miles per hour, and it auto-reconnects above that. The whole point is articulation. With the bar disconnected, your front tires can flex up and down independently to keep contact with rocks instead of lifting off the ground. But owners running manual disconnects, like JKS or TerraFlex setups, get no automatic reconnect. They wheel all weekend, drive back to the trailhead, and forget to bolt the links back in. They cruise home on the freeway with the front sway bar still disconnected, and the Jeep starts leaning into corners like a drunk shopping cart. One sharp turn at highway speed, and you're rolling into the median. Owners on Wrangler forum openly admit they got lazy after wheeling and rolled home with everything still apart, then felt the body roll way more than usual on the freeway off-ramp. Now the secret nobody mentions. A Taser Mini programmer can bump that electronic disconnect speed up to roughly 30 miles per hour for slow trail crawling. Past that, the sway bar locks back in no matter what, because the factory engineers built that limit in to save lives. And one more tip. Always disconnect only after you've shifted into 4 low at the trailhead, never on pavement. Forgetting the sway bar flips you. But number 6 leaves you stranded miles up the side of a mountain alone. Number 6 is going off-road alone. New owners spot the trail-rated badge on the fender and assume the Jeep can handle anything by itself. It can't. The trail-rated badge just means the Jeep passed 5 tests for traction, water fording, maneuverability, articulation, and ground clearance. It doesn't mean unbreakable. Off-road instructor Kurt Schneider tells the story of a guy who rolled his doorless Wrangler just moving it 5 feet away from a fire pit. The driver slid right out of the seat with no door to stop him, and the Jeep landed on top of him. Always wear your seatbelt, even when crawling at 1 mile per hour. Bouncing the throttle over rocks is the #1 rookie cause of snapped axle shafts and broken U-joints in the whole community. Going solo means no winch buddy, no spotter, and no second rig to yank you out when your front diff lands on a hidden boulder. A basic recovery kit needs a kinetic rope, rated soft shackles, traction boards, and a portable compressor. A line damper laid across a stretched winch line is the one piece of gear that stops it from killing you if it snaps under load. And never wrap a winch line around a tree without a tree saver strap. You'll girdle the bark and kill the tree. One more rookie trap. The high lift jack looks cool strapped to your hood, but veteran wheelers will tell you straight up, that thing has killed and crippled more off-roaders than any other tool in the recovery world. Skip it until you've been trained on it. The old guys swear by one rule on every trail. As slow as possible, only as fast as necessary. Solo wheeling risks a tow truck bill. Skipping number 5 shreds every tire you own in one afternoon. Number 5 is skipping the air down. Your door placard says 35 to 40 psi on the tires. That number is built strictly for highway driving on smooth pavement at full load. The second you hit dirt, gravel, or rock, that pressure beats up the suspension and slices your sidewalls open. Veteran wheelers drop down to 15 to 20 psi on a regular trail and 12 to 15 psi on deep sand or snow for flotation. The tire spreads way out, grabs more rubber on the surface, and the ride stops feeling like a paint mixer bolted to your kidneys. But there's one big catch. Drop below 10 psi on a standard non-beadlock wheel, and the tire can pop right off the rim, leaving you stranded miles from the nearest road with a flat. The only way to safely run single-digit psi on the trail is with beadlock wheels, which physically clamp the tire to the rim. Those run anywhere from $200 to $500 per wheel, plus the labor to mount them. A cheap valve core deflator and a portable compressor run under $50 combined at any parts store. And remember, always air back up to road pressure before hitting pavement. Running 15 pounds per square inch on the highway will overheat your tires fast and cause a blowout. Bad PSI ruins your tires. Bad gearing on number 4 cooks your transmission, and most owners don't even know it's happening. Number 4 is skipping maintenance and never regearing. RepairPal lists the average annual Wrangler repair cost at $694, while compact SUVs sit at just $521. That gap exists because new owners follow only the dash oil reminder and ignore the differential fluid, transfer case fluid, and axle service that off-road driving needs. Wheel through a creek even once, and you've ruined those fluids through the breather tubes on top of each axle. The water sits in there and turns the gear oil into a milky soup that grinds down your ring and pinion gears over time. Service the front and rear diff fluid every 20,000 miles if you wheel, or every 40,000 miles if you stay on pavement. The transfer case takes its own fluid too, usually ATF plus 4 or a Mopar spec equivalent, and that one gets ignored on almost every Jeep older than 3 years. Now the bigger trap: bolting 35-inch tires onto stock 3.45 gears without regearing the axles. One owner on JL Wrangler forums said his automatic wouldn't shift past 6th, even on the freeway, because the gears were too tall for the new tire size. The shop rule of thumb goes like this: 4.10 gears for 33-inch tires, 4.56 for 35s, 4.88 for 37s, and 5.13 for 38s and up. Regearing runs about $350 per axle, plus the cost of the gear set, install kit, and shop labor. Smart owners install lockers at the same time because the axles are already pulled apart on the bench, which saves a couple hundred in labor down the road. Skip the regear and you'll cook your transmission inside a year. And one more reality check nobody warns rookies about. The Pentastar V6 with the Autotrans is EPA rated at 20 miles per gallon combined, dropping to roughly 13 miles per gallon once you bolt on 35s and stock gears. The 4xe plug-in hybrid gets a 49 miles per gallon equivalent rating, but only on battery power for about 21 miles before it drops to 20 miles per gallon on straight gas. Plan for around $2,763 a year in fuel at 15,000 miles before any modifications. Bad maintenance leaks money slowly. Number 3 drains it all in one afternoon by killing your driveline. Number 3 is four-wheel drive on dry pavement. This is the one that catches rookies every winter. Part-time four-wheel drive locks the front and rear drive shafts to spin at the same speed. That works on snow, mud, or loose sand because the tires can slip a little and release the pressure. But on dry asphalt, the tires grip way too hard, the driveline can't unload itself, and you get something called drivetrain bind, or crow hop. Your Jeep starts skipping sideways in tight turns like the brakes are locking up. The Wrangler owner's manual flat out says 4H and 4L are made for loose, slippery roads only, and that running them on hard surfaces will damage driveline parts. One owner on Wrangler forum reported white smoke pouring out the back and transfer case fluid shooting out after running 4H at 45 miles per hour on wet pavement. Quick refresher on the modes. 2H is your daily driver, rear-wheel drive only. 4H is for slippery surfaces, never dry pavement. 4L is for crawling under 50 miles per hour, and the engine turns roughly 3 times for every 1 turn of the wheels on a standard transfer case, or 4 times on a Rubicon rock track. If your Sahara has 4H auto, that mode is safe on dry roads because it uses a clutch pack inside the transfer case that lets the wheels turn at slightly different speeds. Plain 4H is not. That mistake breaks your driveline. Number 2 tries to break your face on the steering wheel. Number 2 is ignoring the death wobble. This is the violent shake new Wrangler owners feel at 45 to 55 miles per hour right after hitting a bump or pothole. The front end shakes so hard the steering wheel slaps your hands, and the wheels feel ready to fly off the axle. The NHTSA opened a formal investigation in September of 2019, covering roughly 270,000 model year 2018 and 2019 Wranglers, with 3,566 owner complaints on file at the time. A class action settlement later extended the front steering damper warranty out to 8 years or 90,000 miles on 2018 through 2020 Wranglers and 2020 Gladiators. A full shop fix with a new track bar, ball joints, tie rod ends, and fresh bushings runs $2,000 to $3,500 total. But most YouTube videos miss this next part. Don't just bolt on a new steering stabilizer and call it fixed. That's a band-aid, not a cure. Always start with a proper tire balance, then check the track bar torque, which sits at 74 foot-pounds on the JK platform. Loose bolts cause this way more often than worn parts do. And one more secret. Death wobble usually hits between 45 and 55 miles per hour because that's the natural resonance frequency of a solid front axle. Hit it once, get off the throttle, brake gently, and pull over before it shakes a tie rod loose. Never try to accelerate through it. And tire balance matters way more than you think on a Jeep. The heavy 35 and 37-inch tires need road force balancing on a Hunter machine, not the cheap static balance from your local tire shop. A bad balance alone has triggered death wobble in plenty of perfectly maintained Wranglers. Death wobble drains $3,500. Number 1 drains $10,000 in one afternoon. Number 1 is hydrolocking the engine. Your Wrangler comes with a factory water depth limit of about 30 inches at under 5 miles per hour. New owners see a flooded street after a storm, get excited, and floor it through a deep puddle without thinking. Water shoots straight up into the airbox, gets sucked into the cylinders, and bends the connecting rods on the spot. The bills get nasty fast. One Jeep Wrangler forum owner got quoted $12,000 for a new engine and torque converter combo. Another paid $9,800 at the dealership for a brand new Pentastar V6 installed. A third got hit with a $7,500 bill before insurance kicked in. Now the part nobody warns rookies about. If your engine dies in water, don't try to restart it. That single restart attempt is what bends the connecting rods inside the block. Pull the spark plugs first, crank the engine to push the water out, then tow the Jeep home on a flatbed. You can hydrolock in as little as 11 inches of water if you splash it sideways into the fender intake. A safer, real-world weighting limit sits closer to 20 inches, going slow enough to push a small bow wave in front of the front bumper. Want to ford deeper than that? Install a snorkel that pulls air from cowl height, around 6 feet up, and extend your breather tubes for the front diff, rear diff, transmission, and transfer case. That snorkel kit costs a few $100 and saves you a $10,000 engine. So now I want to hear from you. Which of these mistakes did you make during your first year of Jeep ownership, and which one surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more Jeep tips every week, and click the video on your screen right now for another guide that could save you thousands. I'll see you there.